Since our YMCA was founded in 1888, thousands of people have played a part. Lives have been changed for the better. Children are more confident with brighter futures. And our community is stronger and healthier. It takes many voices to tell our Y's 125-year story. Here are just a few of the people who have been a part of our Y's legacy.
Well, I have a long connection to the Y because I go back through my father to my grandfather. And grandfather was very active as a young man in this community. And at 23 years old, he and his twin brother were charter members of the founding of the YMCA in 1888. My father was very active in the YMCA. In 1934 and 36, he was president. And I was only 5 years old when he was rotated out of being president. But I always was very proud of him for being in the YMCA. Well, the first memory I have, because I was very young, was the father-son banquet. And I remember distinctly being in the gym with the track around and all the tables set up. After I came back to Winston-Salem, I got involved with the Wiseman's Club. Tuesday night we had a good young group of men that came down and played volleyball, and then we had a dinner afterward and a speaker. When I was president from 1967, 68, expansion was our really drive.
Serving the African American community, the Patterson Avenue YMCA was founded in 1924. It became a central gathering place for community collaborations led by many community leaders, including Thomas Hinton. His son, David Hinton, a multi-year Y volunteer leader, was the first African American chief volunteer officer, who later became a Red Triangle Award recipient.
I remember growing up at the Patterson Avenue YMCA doing many things. First, it was a meeting place. I remember my dad, who was actively involved as a member of the Y, going to various functions, events. While he was meeting, we would be playing basketball, we'd be in the gym, associating with other kids. I remember learning how to swim at Patterson Avenue Y. My dad was one of the early people who did collaboration. He was in charge of all the Black Boy Scouts in Winston-Salem in the 60s, and we would have our scout meetings at the Y. One of the people I remember from Patterson Avenue was Mo Lucas. Mo and my dad were just great friends. Once Patterson Avenue Y closed and we opened Winston Lake, Mo continued to be involved with the Winston Lake Y.
From the early years, when Camp Haynes's main attraction was the lake and the big clearing, camp has grown into a year-round adventure and character development destination. Charles Welfare was one of the first boys in 1927 to board the bus for a journey out to YMCA Camp Haynes. Inspired by his father's camp stories, Randy Welfare became a camper and sent his son to Camp Haynes as well. 3 generations of Y campers.
My father was the oldest of 6 boys, and they were Y members just all the way back. Eventually, all the brothers went to camp, and most of them ended up being counselors, spending lots of time in the summer at Camp Haynes. But in 1927, you got on a bus in Winston-Salem, and it was an hour at least, or 2 hours, up bad roads to get to camp. And it was a world apart, a separate place, a very special place then. Camp Haynes teaches values. And the values haven't changed from my father's time to my time to my son's time. And if we do it right, the values are going to stay the same, and my grandchildren are going to have the same values.
In the 1990s, the Y focused on the character development values of caring, honesty, respect, responsibility, and faith. The Y also took its mission internationally, helping to re-establish the Y in the Ukraine after the fall of the Soviet Union. During this period, the Y welcomed its first female chief volunteer officer, Gaynell Hutchins.
And my involvement started because I worked for a man, Bill White, who absolutely lived and breathed the YMCA. This was a period of tremendous growth for our YMCA. When I was serving as chair of the YMCA, Brian Comier was the CEO. You had to be around Brian to know just how passionate he was about the Y and what the future of the Y would be. Some people thought that the YMCA was just a place where people went to exercise. And the Y is so much more than that. They just are constantly reaching out into the community.
Through the next 2 decades, the Y continued to expand, adding locations and merging with other Ys in the Northwest region. Responding to community needs has always been a part of the Y. Strong volunteer leadership, supported by a dedicated staff, are key elements to the Y's success. Led by current president and CEO Kurt Hazelbaker, philanthropy through the annual campaign significantly increased, and the Y worked to strengthen community through efforts such as summer learning academies, health programs for cancer survivors, and initiatives to fight obesity.
I've been the chair of the annual giving campaign for the past 4 years. Kurt truly values volunteers and has always made me feel like my contribution was important and very special to the YMCA. Kurt is a wonderful example of a cause-driven leader in our organization. It's important that we share the story of the YMCA because of the wonderful things it does, but also because that message, when it touches people's ears, it touches their hearts. And when we touch people's hearts, we're able to get those people to understand, number one, the cause that we serve, the mission that we believe in at the YMCA, and the impact that we have in our communities.
The mission has stayed the same over these 125 years.
The new look, the new colors that we're using today simply helps us do a better job of sharing the impact our YMCA has in our community.
We did it through leadership, we did it through community involvement, but we never lost sight of the need for the values over the years.
It's where people come to improve their spirit, mind, and body.
You don't know if the person that's coming through is rich or poor. They could be of any race, any religion, any status, any social background. That's what the Y is all about. That's one thing that has never changed over 125 years. When you walk in the Y, you are welcome to be here.